We are looking into yet another claim about The Simpsons predicting a big news event.
The Simpsons, the wacky animated sitcom that's been around for decades, has gained a cult following not just for its humor and dysfunctional family dynamics, but also for its weirdly accurate predictions about the future. From complex scientific breakthroughs like the Higgs boson particle, often nicknamed the God particle, to everyday gadgets like smartwatches, the show has eerily predicted real-life events. They've even touched on stranger occurrences, like the disastrous implosion of a submarine and the massive media merger between Disney and Fox. In this video, we're going to be revealing some of the most frightening predictions The Simpsons have made. Number 20. AI Takeover. For years, experts have been raising the alarm about artificial intelligence, AI, taking over jobs. It's a real concern, but guess what? The Simpsons were way ahead of the curve. Back in 2012, with the episode titled Them Robot, they predicted exactly this scenario. In the episode, Homer becomes the unfortunate victim of technological progress. Mr. Burns, ever the penny-pinching villain, decides to replace all the Springfield nuclear power plant employees with robots. Burns even throws a chilling line at Homer before the switcheroo. Humans will train these robots. You will train them, and they will replace you. Sound familiar? That's exactly how AI is starting to play out in the real world. We're already seeing robots taking on jobs like waiting tables in Japan. Self-driving cars are poised to replace taxi drivers, and AI programs like ChatGPT are making waves in various fields. Coding, financial advising, even creative jobs like graphic design and copywriting. Just like in Them Robot, these AI tools are trained by humans, then potentially take over our roles. But The Simpsons didn't stop there. They also hinted at a more unsettling future. AI gone bad. The episode Itchy and Scratchy Land from 1994 features a theme park run entirely by robots. Seems fun, right? Well, things take a turn for the worse when these intelligent robots become self-aware, break free from human control, and wreak havoc. Back then, it was probably a laugh-out-loud moment. But today, with news like a Google AI engineer claiming a language model became sentient, it's a lot less funny. Imagine a future where AI systems are so advanced they can mimic human behavior flawlessly. They could learn on their own, even develop emotions. This engineer, Blake Lemoine, was a respected figure in the AI field, and his claims got him fired. It makes you wonder, is The Simpsons' prediction from almost 30 years ago coming true? The show serves as a strange warning. Are we creating AI so powerful that it could one day decide humanity is obsolete? It's a question worth pondering, and maybe a good reason to keep an eye on those ever-evolving robots, both real and animated. Also, in one episode of The Simpsons, the show imagines a future where Mr. Burns is still around and looking at the world of law enforcement. It shows robots handling police calls, raising questions about whether robots should patrol our streets. This episode makes us think about the effects and possible problems of using AI in law enforcement. Another episode explores robots as companions. A character makes a robotic version of his ex-wife, Marge. While the idea of having a companion is nice, the show cleverly shows that these robotic companions lack real emotions and kindness. Number 19. Pandemic and murder hornets combination. Another interesting prediction that die-hard Simpsons fans will be aware of was in a 1993 episode titled Marge in Chains. And this episode basically predicted two real-world events: the COVID-19 pandemic and the arrival of murder hornets in the US. Let's unpack this. First, the murder hornets. These extra-large, super stingy hornets, notorious for decapitating their prey, recently made their unwelcome debut in the United States. Funny thing is, in the Marge in Chains episode, a flu spreads from Japan to Springfield thanks to a contaminated juice loosener package, sneezed on by a sick factory worker no less. Springfield residents open the packages, unleashing the germs and falling victim to the Osaka flu. Sound familiar? Then there's the chaotic hospital scene where frantic citizens knock over a truck full of crates labeled killer bees. While not exactly murder hornets, the episode adds another layer to the predictive Simpsons legend. That's not all. Another episode recently gained attention when Tom Hanks announced his COVID-19 diagnosis. Remember that iconic 2007 Simpsons movie line, delivered by none other than Tom Hanks himself? This is Tom Hanks saying, "If you see me in person, please leave me be." Spooky, right? Bill Oakley, co-writer of Marge in Chains, downplays the whole predicted a pandemic thing. He told The Hollywood Reporter it was just a cartoonish gag inspired by a real-life 1968 flu outbreak in Hong Kong. He basically shrugs and says, "Hey, history repeats itself and these episodes are old." Fair enough. Most Simpsons jokes are rooted in real-world events just from a few decades back. However, Oakley seems to be changing his tune. A fan recently tweeted him about the predictions, and Oakley conceded with a playful, "Okay, fine, I guess we did." So, did The Simpsons predict a global pandemic and killer insects? Maybe not exactly, but the show's writers definitely have a knack for tapping into universal themes and anxieties that can feel eerily relevant years later. Just keep an eye on those juice looseners, folks, and maybe give those animated bees a wide berth. Number 18. World War III Remembered. An even scarier Simpsons prediction is that of World War III. With conflicts erupting all over the globe, from the devastating war in Ukraine to the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian tensions, the world feels precariously close to a major meltdown. Former CIA spy Andrew Bustamante even claims we're headed straight for a global war in 2024, suggesting we might already be in the early stages. The Simpsons warned us about this way back in 1987. Remember the Season 2 episode titled World War III? It features a hilariously paranoid Homer-convinced World War III is about to erupt, with major powers ready to nuke each other. His panicked cry, "Wake up everybody, it's World War III! Quick, down to the fallout shelter, the bombs are dropping!" now feels a little less funny. With global tensions simmering, many worry this comedic bit from decades ago might become a tragic reality in 2024. Back in 1987, the Cold War cast a long shadow. The US eventually emerged victorious in 1991, but today, some experts fear we've entered a second Cold War, with US-Russia relations frostier than ever. Okay, enough with the chills. We all need a little laugh, right? World War China might sound like a terrifying future headline, but thankfully, it hasn't happened yet. However, the possibility hangs heavy in the air. Wikipedia paints a grim picture. 5 major wars are raging right now, from Myanmar's internal struggles to the ongoing battles in Ukraine and Sudan. Add to that the smaller but no less devastating conflicts: Colombia's violence, Somalia's civil war, communal clashes in Nigeria, and Mexico's never-ending drug war. Experts argue that with so many wars already happening, the world is basically at war already. And with tensions between major powers like the US, Russia, China, and North Korea on the rise, are we teetering on the edge of something much bigger? World War II might have been a dark joke back in 1987, but in today's world it serves as a chilling reminder of the fragile peace we cling to. Is this the path to another global war, or just a conspiracy theory that spiraled out of control? Another worrying Simpson prediction is economic collapse. Number 17, economic collapse. The global economy's been on a roller coaster lately, and the US is no exception. Uncle Sam cranked out a whopping $3.3 trillion in new money back in 2020 alone. Many economists are worried this could trigger a massive wave of inflation and even an economic meltdown. Folks are already losing their homes and jobs, and experts warn things could get even uglier by 2024. But here's the weird part. The Simpsons might have seen this coming all the way back in 2000. Remember the episode Bart to the Future? In this eerily prophetic episode, the economic collapse hits during a Trump presidency. Now, while Trump isn't currently in office, there's always a chance he could win in 2024. That means this particular episode could become a chilling reality. Spooky coincidence, or is there something more to it? One thing's for sure. With economic anxieties on the rise, this Simpsons prediction might hit a little too close to home for many. Let's hope the future is brighter than what they showed us, but maybe keep an eye on your wallet just in case. This leads us to the next prediction. Number 16. Donald Trump wins the presidency. On November 15, 2022, former President Donald Trump declared that he would again be running for president in the 2024 election. This declaration quickly became a major talking point across various media platforms and sparked a wide range of reactions from the public, political analysts. One of the most intriguing responses involved a reference to an episode of the popular animated television series, The Simpsons. Of course, The Simpsons had previously featured an episode that seemed to predict this moment. In a 2015 episode, the Simpson family travels into the future, and during this futuristic adventure, there is a scene where Homer Simpson is floating by a sign that reads, Trump 2024. This episode aired long before Donald Trump announced his first presidential run, or became the fifth president of the United States, adding a layer of intrigue and fascination to the show's history of seemingly predicting real-world events. This wasn't the first time The Simpsons had demonstrated its uncanny ability to foresee future events. The show had previously depicted Donald Trump's presidency in another episode, which aired long before he took office. In this earlier episode, the show portrays Trump as having been president and leaving behind a dire financial situation, leading to a widespread budget crisis. A character in the episode states, 16 years ago, The Simpsons eerily predicted Donald Trump would be president. As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. This fictional portrayal resonated with some real-life concerns about the economic impact of Trump's presidency, thus adding to the perception that The Simpsons has a remarkable knack for predicting future scenarios. Number 15. The Shard in London. The world of television loves a good cameo, and what better place for a cartoon character to visit than the iconic city of London? Lisa Simpson, the brainy member of the Simpsons family, even got her own London adventure. In a mind-bending flash-forward during a classic episode from 1995, Lisa joins a school trip across the pond. There, she meets a fellow student named Hugh Parkfield. Sounds like the beginning of a great international romance, eh? But eagle-eyed Simpsons fans spotted something a little weird in the background. Tower Bridge, that majestic symbol of London, is clearly visible. But peeking over the top, there's a mysterious skyscraper that looks awfully familiar. And to any Londoner, that building would scream, "The Shard!" Here's the kicker. The Shard wasn't even built until 2009, 14 years after the episode aired. Number 14, Siegfried and Roy Tiger Attack. Siegfried and Roy, two names that sparkled with Vegas magic. For decades, these entertainers weren't just performers, they were a symbol of Las Vegas itself. But remember way back in 1993, when The Simpsons poked fun at Siegfried and Roy with their own wild act, Gunter and Ernst, a flamboyant duo with tigers, what could go wrong? Well, life is stranger than fiction sometimes. Fast forward 10 years, and things took a dramatic and unsettling turn that mirrored that Simpsons episode a little too closely. Roy was on stage at the Mirage Hotel and Casino, dazzling the audience with their usual magic and majestic tigers. One of the tigers, a magnificent white Bengal named Manticore, was part of the act, but something went terribly wrong. Manticore, who usually seemed playful, suddenly turned predatory. The big cat lunged at Roy, latching onto his sleeve with a powerful bite. The attack was severe, severing Roy's spine and leaving him seriously injured. The reasons behind the attack have never been fully explained. Siegfried, Roy's partner, blamed the trainers for not properly handling the situation. Others whispered about a possible cover-up by the hotel to protect their own reputation. Whatever the cause, this shocking event in 2003 spelled the end of an era. The iconic Siegfried and Roy show, a Las Vegas staple for nearly 40 years, had to close its curtains for good. Number 13. Flying cars. Remember those wacky flying cars that were very common on The Simpsons? Well, forget cartoons. A real company called Samson Sky is taking us hurtling towards the future with their Switchblade, the world's first flying sports car. The Samson Switchblade, first announced way back, has finally taken flight, literally. This street-legal three-wheeler isn't your average ride. With the push of a button, it transforms into a sleek airplane, reaching speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. Now, this ain't quite the gravity-defying hovercraft we might have pictured. Think more like a super cool car with wings that fold away neatly. So it doubles as a plane, but the kind that still relies on good old-fashioned air for lift. The promo video shows this Batmobile meets airplane morphing its way into the sky, which is pretty darn impressive. But it also raises a bunch of questions. For starters, will you need a pilot's license to take this bad boy for a spin? And how exactly will we manage air traffic control when the skies are filled with these flying cars weaving in and out? Regulations are a whole other can of worms. Let's be real. Widespread flying cars zipping around by 2024 seems a bit of a stretch. Number 12, Disney buying Fox. The Simpsons also predicted a real-life media mega-merger. Disney recently shelled out a cool $52 billion to buy a big chunk of Fox. The Simpsons this one way back in 1998 with the episode When You Dish Upon a Star. In this episode, Homer stumbles into a bizarre situation, becoming the unlikely personal assistant to celebrities Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger. Hijinks ensue, with Homer's offbeat ideas, think time-traveling killer robot driving instructors and talking pies, driving everyone crazy. Homer even gets canned for spilling the beans on the A-listers' whereabouts. So, how does this connect to the Disney-Fox deal? In a hilarious twist, the episode depicts 20th Century Fox as a division of the Walt Disney Company. A giant sign out front makes it crystal clear. Fast forward to 2019, and that fictional scenario becomes reality. The news anchor even chimes in, pointing out the eerie coincidence. Doesn't this mean Disney owns The Simpsons now? And I kind of remember them predicting this a few years ago. This isn't the only time The Simpsons flirted with the Disneyverse. Mickey Mouse and Goofy even showed Homer his place in one episode, and there's a whole Disney-themed couch gag floating around out there. Following the official merger announcement, Simpsons executive producer James L. Brooks even sent a playful greeting from Homer and Bart to Mickey Mouse himself. Number 11. Colonizing Mars. Things got a little, should we say, out of this world in Season 27, Episode 16, titled The Margan Chronicles. This episode saw The Simpsons become pioneers in a history-making program, a one-way trip to Mars. Imagine that. Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie, the first human family on the Red Planet. Giant leap for mankind and all that jazz. Well, the dream of becoming Martian colonists turned into a hilarious Springfield-style mess. After a whole week cooped up in a cramped Martian habitat, think of your average Krusty Burger kitchen, but smaller and way less delicious, the truth came crashing down like a meteor. The whole thing was a giant hoax. That shiny rocket they trained in? Turns out it was just a fancy movie set, never meant to actually blast off. Classic Simpsons, right? However, even without a real rocket, the ever-inventive Marge and brainy Lisa somehow end up on Mars anyway. The episode cleverly hinted that their Martian adventure might actually become a reality, but not until 2051. Now in the real world, real-life rocket man Elon Musk, the head honcho at SpaceX, has Mars firmly set in his sights. This guy's got one big dream: colonize the Red Planet and turn it into humanity's new digs. Back in 2020, Musk announced a wild plan to launch the first, admittedly rough around the edges, mission to Mars by 2026. This currency doesn't seem like a timeline SpaceX can meet up with now, though. Number 10. Female president. For a short period in 2021, the US had its first female president. Kamala Harris took on the role while President Biden was under anesthesia for a routine colonoscopy for 1 hour and 25 minutes. Throughout history, women have shown great leadership in politics. However, the political world has been mostly dominated by men, limiting the number of women reaching top positions, including the White House. Despite these challenges, popular culture often portrays these scenarios simply. For instance, in The Simpsons episode Bart to the Future, Lisa Simpson becomes the first female president of the United States. In this storyline, she inherits a financially troubled nation due to the mismanagement of her predecessor, President Trump, and introduces a tax increase to stabilize the economy. With the 2024 elections on the horizon, some speculate whether The Simpsons might again foreshadow actual political events. Many believe the show's prediction partially came true, with Kamala Harris serving as the first female vice president. Number 9. The Baby Translator. In a 1992 episode called Brother, Can You Spare 2 Dimes?, Homer's brother invents a machine that translates what babies are saying. Back then, it seemed like a crazy idea. But guess what? Today, there are actually gadgets that can do a similar thing. A company named Zoundream makes a device called the Babyt that translates baby cries into words. It uses fancy technology to listen to your baby's sounds and figure out what they mean. There are even phone apps that claim to do the same thing. These might tell you if your baby is tired, hungry, or needs a diaper change. Number 8. Virtual reality food. Remember that episode where Marge chowed down on VR fudge, magically customized to her wildest cravings? Well, companies like Aerobanquet's RMX are offering something similar, though it might cost you a pretty penny. Imagine dining among the stars, or feeling the crunch of snow beneath your feet as you climb Mount Everest, all from the comfort of your home. Well, kind of. Aerobanquets, RMX, created by a fancy artist and some top chefs, serves up bite-sized meals that transport you to totally different worlds. Pretty neat, right? Of course, there's a catch, like there always is. It's expensive, and you basically need a personal waiter to follow you around. But hey, experts say VR dining might be everywhere someday, just like those Oculus headsets that used to seem like something out of a movie. A similar one to this is the prediction of hologram technology. Number 7. Hologram technology. Remember that episode where Bart used Professor Frink's invention to peek into the future? He even got a holographic concert invite for his band. Way ahead of their time, those Simpsons. But seriously, how did they know holograms would be popping up everywhere? Maybe we won't all be rocking holographic flip phones in 2024, but the future's looking pretty holographic nonetheless. Take the DreamOck HD3, for example. This isn't your grandpa's hologram projector. It's a high-tech marvel that lets you combine real-life objects with 3D holographic animations. Imagine having a 3D portal on your desk, showcasing anything you can dream of, right before your eyes. It's like having your own mini holodeck, straight out of Star Trek. Now, holograms might not be quite as common as smartphones just yet, but technology has a way of surprising us. Remember when those giant VR headsets seemed like something out of a sci-fi movie? Now they're practically a dime a dozen. Perhaps the most scary prediction by The Simpsons is the one with black holes. Number 6. The Simpsons and black holes. The Simpsons might have accidentally predicted the end. Well, almost. Remember the super creepy Treehouse of Horror episode where a faulty particle accelerator opened a black hole and swallowed everything in Springfield? Yikes! Talk about a bad day for Krusty Land. But here's the thing. That episode was pure nightmare fuel. In real life, thank goodness, black holes aren't quite the cosmic vacuum cleaners they make them out to be. Take India, for instance. In 2024, they launched a fancy new space telescope called ExoSat to study black holes. And guess what they found? A whopper. This quasar, as scientists call it, is apparently the brightest object ever discovered, shining about 500 trillion times brighter than our sun. Now, before you start hoarding canned goods, here's the good news. Even though black holes are real and some are super powerful, Earth isn't in any immediate danger of getting sucked into one. Why? Because from a distance, a black hole's pull isn't much stronger than a regular star of the same size. So, even if our sun mysteriously disappeared and a black hole took its place, Earth would probably keep on orbiting happily, none the wiser. Number 5. Robots as librarians. Looks like the Simpsons weren't just meddling in Lisa's love life. Remember that whole Hugh Parkfield, the English dude prediction? They were also crystal balling the future of libraries. In that episode, Lisa's Wedding, a psychic foretold Lisa's future, including a shocking twist: robot librarians. No more shushing old ladies or struggling with the Dewey Decimal System, just a helpful bot to point you in the right direction. Flash forward to 2016, and guess what? Reality started to borrow from The Simpsons playbook. Some brainy students at Aberystwyth University cooked up a prototype library robot, and wouldn't you know it, they named it Hugh. Just like in the episode, this robotic wonder could listen to your book woes, find the perfect read, and even take you straight to it. Spooky, right? With whiz-bang robotics on the rise, who knows? Maybe these robot librarians will become an everyday sight in libraries everywhere. Looks like The Simpsons weren't just psychic about love. They might have just written the next chapter for libraries around the world. Number 4. Apple Vision Pro predictions. In early 2024, Apple kicked things off with the release of their super-hyped VR headset, the Vision Pro 8. It lets you experience anything you can imagine, from rocking out at a virtual concert to going on a safari without leaving your living room. Sounds pretty wild, right? But here's the thing. This wasn't exactly new news for the Simpsons fans, at least. Back in 2016, there was a Simpsons episode called Friends and Family, where Mr. Burns, ever the oddball, hired the Simpsons as his, wait for it, virtual reality family. He had this fancy new headset that looked suspiciously like the Vision Pro, and let's just say things got a little out of control. Springfield went full-on VR crazy, with people tripping over curbs, wandering into traffic, and generally making a hilarious mess of themselves. It was classic Simpsons mayhem. Number 2. FIFA Scandal. In one particular episode of The Simpsons, Homer, bless his clueless heart, becomes a referee for the World Cup. It was a classic case of Homer's bumbling ways causing hilarious chaos on the soccer field. But here's the crazy part. The episode titled, "You Don't Have to Live Like a Referee," also made some strange predictions that ended up coming true. The first one was a bit lighthearted. The episode showed Germany winning the entire tournament. And guess what? In the 2014 World Cup final, Germany actually emerged victorious, defeating Argentina 1-0. Talk about spooky accuracy. But the second prediction was way more serious. In the episode, Homer gets the referee job because of a major referee shortage caused by a FIFA corruption scandal. Shockingly, just a few months after the episode aired, real-life FIFA, the governing body of international soccer, was embroiled in a massive bribery, money laundering, and fraud scandal. Police even raided their headquarters. This wasn't just a funny coincidence. It was eerily prescient. Number 1, a late letter from the Beatles. Remember that Season 2 episode where Marge gets artsy and we see Ringo Starr drowning in unanswered fan letters? Well, get this. Something kind of similar happened in real life, but with a different Beatle. In 2013, Paul McCartney, yeah, the one and only, answered a letter from 2 fans all the way back in 1963. The letter, a blast from the past, resurfaced at a random car boot sale, like a trunk sale, and somehow ended up in McCartney's hands. Now, this wasn't exactly Ringo's situation in The Simpsons, but it's pretty darn close. McCartney, like a rock star time traveler, wrote back, admitting it was a better late than never situation and thanking them for their groovy tape, a cassette tape for you youngsters. So, while it wasn't Ringo and a mountain of fan mail exactly, it's another example of The Simpsons getting a little too close to reality for comfort, or maybe just a hilarious coincidence. Those Springfield fortune tellers are at it again. This double dose of future telling makes you wonder if the writers of The Simpsons have some kind of crystal ball hidden away in Springfield. Whether they're predicting sporting victories or exposing real-world corruption, they continue to amaze and confuse us in the best way possible. So, did The Simpsons predict anything else? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more Simpsons mysteries.